All right, man. The top 25. We talked about the preseason top 25 the week before. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a week before, and obviously after week one, a lot of things changed. What did you have any teams in particular that you were disappointed in, that you were, ecstatic about in terms
Mm-hmm.
of
You already
surprises
know
that
where I'm
may have
going.
happened over the weekend? Let's
You
get
already know
let's
where I'm
let's get
going. You
into
already know where I'm going. Florida State. Florida State, bro. That ain't even no question. Listen,
Boy.
for a team who missed the playoffs and everyone had so much sympathy for. You know what I'm saying? So much sympathy for missing the playoffs. You go in week one, you lose to Georgia Tech. Shout out to Georgia Tech. You go in last night at home and you lose to Boston College. And now the conversation shifts from should you have been in there at all? You know what I'm saying? Like because DJ, I don't want to be rude about it. He's just not the guy. He's not the guy. Like that, and it's just you. That is a long roll from Jordan Travis, right? That's a long roll. So watch him play in the past two games. He was very like inefficient. He wasn't as accurate, and he pretty much threw the Georgia Tech game. And last night, I don't even know. It just like he wasn't ready to play. He just wasn't ready. He wasn't focused. He wasn't anything. And shout out to like the defense. I feel like Florida State's defense is pretty decent, but you know, you just can't have that happen. You can't have that happen because there's something already. There's a chip already on your shoulder coming into a season, as if prove to us to why you should have made the playoffs. Now you're 0-2. You're also 0-2 in the conference. So what does that tell me? I'm super disappointed in them because, like I said, we all had high hopes for them. We all had high hopes for them. We all wanted them to come out and just show us something. And I get it; it's only two games, but think about it. This is a 12. I feel like now it's going to be much. Don't quote me when I say this. Wait, don't bash when I say this. I think it's going to be much difficult from a 12 team perspective compared to a four because everybody's going to be rushing to get those latter spots. Just think about it. Like at the end of the year, you're like 12. You lose one, you're 13, you're out. Or if you're like 14 and you got to win like two of your last four, something, you out. So now it's like you already lost two. And then you lost to two teams who are pretty much, or who were at the bottom of the conference last year. So pretty much your season is at jeopardy right now. And now you're unranked. So,
Look, what's crazy is that I don't necessarily believe Florida State season is over. Like you said, it is very much in jeopardy. I looked at the schedule earlier. I don't know when they get it right. You know what I'm saying? Because
mm,
you've lost to Georgia Tech and Boston College, who on this schedule can I say confidently that you can beat? Like, you have
mm,
SMU, you got California coming. Like, I should feel confident about you being able to beat those teams.
mm,
Should theoretically. I can't feel that way right now. Like,
mm,
until proven otherwise, I can't feel
yeah.
confident that you can beat any of those teams. And I mean, even with everything being said, man, I still believe Clemson is still probably the team to beat. Miami had the best performance of any ACC team to start the year off. Clemson, even
Mm-hmm.
though they lost 34-3, I'll say that I still don't discount what they can do in the conference, because I know Dabo can still win that conference with his eyes closed and his hands tied behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much he's dominated the ACC. And I still believe that Georgia is just that much better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Georgia, to me, definitely came out and proved like that number one ranking, and proved exactly what we said the other week when we were talking about who's the national championship favorite. And when I said Georgia, I'm like, they definitely went out there and proved that. Alabama also, with waxing Western Kentucky 63-0, looked exactly how I thought they would look for a team that I still believe is very much neck and neck with Georgia, in terms of competing for a natty. Um, let me see who else. Oregon, nobody talked about Oregon all week. Well, he was
Right.
since their season opener against Idaho. They won 24-14
Mm-hmm.
against Idaho. Shout out to Idaho. Shout out to the Idaho Vandals,
Shout
by
out
the
to
way.
Idaho, man. Yeah.
But 24-14
Mm.
for a team that had a lot to say last year. You know what I'm saying, when they
Right,
beat
right.
Colorado. And I mean, I'm not mad at that at all. I'm just saying, like, what the hell happened 24-14 to FCS Idaho? Like, not, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, not a Sun Belt team or American Conference team, to FCS Idaho 24-14. I don't believe that's what they are. I believe they'll be I believe they're a better group. They play Boise State though. This upcoming Saturday.
Mhm.
Get your shit together. Let me tell you something. Get your
Get
shit
your
together.
shit.
Them boys play ball.
Listen,
Because you will, the state of Idaho, like, they may have you in a chokehold right now. You will get
right,
embarrassed if you don't get it together. So I
right, right,
expect a
right.
better performance out of them. Um, that just wasn't what I thought would happen. I just looked at that score. I didn't even like bother to watch any highlights from it because I'm like, bro, like, I don't feel like I should have to watch Idaho and Oregon highlights, but apparently I need to. Um,
Right.
Another team that impressed me, Notre Dame, bro. Goodness.
Mm,
Marcus Freeman taking his team on the road to the 12th man, getting the job done on the road in the
mm,
SEC. Yeah, he's got something over there.
mhm.
And the college football is wide open this year, bro. It's very much wide open. That was the type of performance that you. It was a Notre Dame like performance. It was a
Mhm.
physical performance. They were able to lean on Texas A&M as we got closer and closer towards the end of that game. They made big time plays. The defense obviously steps up. Notre Dame, that was a very impressive. Their win and Miami's win are probably the two most impressive
Yeah,
wins to start the year
I was
off.
gonna bounce on that. I was gonna say Miami was another team that impressed me, and we talked about Cam Ward early in the show. You know, 26-35, 385, three tutties, and one interception, man. And they win in the swamp. You know, which a lot of people can attest. That's a hostile environment. You go in the swamp, you win 41-17. 41, you pretty much owned it. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, they jumped up 7 spots. They're number 12. They're right there on the cusp. If the playoffs started today, I know I'm just saying they in there. But I mean, I think
Yeah,
the question is, um, how do you ride this momentum moving forward? You know, like I said, we talked about in the past how fans want that Miami of old. Now we're not saying that they are the Miami of old, but they could be a better version. They could be not a better version. Let me not say better. Y'all ain't about to
they
type me in the comments. I
they
ain't gonna
could
do that.
be a variant. Yeah, they gonna get
A
you.
variant of what? Yeah, they're gonna get me. Let me back up. Y'all can be a variant of what it was, your own style. And I think they ride that momentum. And we was talking about the ACC again. Like, you know, I know you understand. You said Clemson is pretty much still the best team in the conference because you know Dabo can win that conference, you know, easily. But who's to say that Miami can be a clutch team? Who's to say, you know, North Carolina State, Georgia Tech? You never know. But Miami, to me, man, like they really play like they have something to prove. Like you don't go into the
And
slump, you don't win that way. They
hell of a
did.
statement. Mario Cristobal, shout out to him. Hell of a statement that he made, getting that team ready and prepared to go
Yeah.
win in the swamp. And I'm looking at I'm taking a glance at their schedule. The next 3 weeks they play Florida A&M, Ball State, and South
Mhm,
Florida. You're wiping the
mhm,
floor with that. Should be theoretically. I want to see. Here's the things I want to see from you in these games: to dominate, because
mhm.
domination, consistency, and growth. Continue to get better. Continue to execute at a
Right.
high level. If you can display
Right.
that in the next month, in the month of
Mhm.
September, then then you have Virginia Tech at home to end the month. Virginia Tech
Yeah.
obviously losing on the road to Vandy was a big surprise. Um, that
Mhm.
will show me a lot. But the next three
Yeah.
weeks though, you need to be wiping the floor with everybody. So these are where you need your style points at. Cause now because from a playoff perspective,
Mhm.
these games won't do anything for your resume. Florida did
Yeah.
that. The opener against Florida did a lot for your resume, but the
Mhm.
next 3 weeks will not. You need to wipe the floor with
Next
everybody
3 weeks, yeah.
and show the committee that, hey, like, we're this much better than the rest of
Yeah.
than these teams. And when you get back to
Yeah.
conference play, just handle business. Straight up
Handle
handle
business. Because
business. That's all I can say.
your biggest two tests, whether we were talking about them earlier, your biggest two tests after that, nothing against Tech, nothing against Cal, but your biggest two tests is Louisville and Florida State, right? And God forbid we don't know how good the rest of the conference is gonna be. But you
Right.
gotta
Like, cause
go
like
and
Georgia
you're
Tech,
at Louisville.
hey, but
Yeah.
the best thing you can
So I
hope for
mean,
is that you better hope better hope teams like Georgia Tech hold on and continue to, build on the momentum that they got to start the year off as well. I
Better
mean, you,
hope.
you play Georgia
Shout
Tech,
out to them boys,
you
man. Number
play like you
23,
said,
bro.
yeah. Shout out them boy for real. Truthfully, honestly, shout out Georgia Tech. They
Shout out Georgia Tech, man.
for real, like you talking about a team that made the transition from being a triple option team to a spread, and they are now looking like they're starting to figure it out. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that team. Happy for that program and what they're accomplishing over there. Another team, the team right below Miami in the top 25 right now, at number 13, Southern Cal. Great
Mm-hmm.
performance against LSU. Miller
Mm-hmm.
Moss had a great had a
Mm-hmm.
great showing. Well, this isn't his debut. He debuted last year in the bowl game.
Yeah.
This is not his second. It's not his second start. He went 27-36, 378 yards, one touchdown. Let me give Lincoln Riley credit. This may be the best team he's put together at Southern Cal since he's been there overall as a unit.
Okay.
Like defensively, offensively, he may have put together a team that could legitimately compete. Amongst some of the best. Now, I don't know how much. I don't know how far they can go. Miller Moss is still young. We still have to see more from him in terms of whether we can trust him as QB1. He is QB1, but I can't. Where does he rank among some of the best? We'll find out in the
We'll
upcoming
find
weeks.
out in
But
a couple weeks.
I mean, you look at how they even won the game. They won the game running the football. Like that's how they
Mm-hmm.
were able to seal that game against LSU. That was it was impressive. It was very much
Right.
impressive.
But that's no,
They got some.
that's
They
typical. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's typical USC ball.
no,
They're very big on running the ball, and I think Miller Moss he capitalized that on the pass. Because obviously he like you said he had 27, 36, 378, one tutty. He could have had more, but they just utilized the run.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mark's 16 carries, 68, two tutties. That's just Carolina ball, and I think like you said, shout out to Lincoln Riley. He this
not
is
not
probably
not
the best
Carolina.
team.
Hey, wrong
Wait, wrong
wrong
coach,
USC. He told my yeah.
wrong
He said
coach.
you said Carolina ball. I'm like, hold on, I said brother.
Sorry, Southern California ball. My bad. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's typical. That's typical Southern California ball. I think Lincoln Riley does have, a balanced team that he's had since he's been there. And like you said, we're gonna see not just with Miller Moss, but we're gonna see as a program, what we've been wanting to see from them for years. It's like how do they match up against the elite coming in the next couple of weeks. And it's gonna be time. Time is gonna tell on that.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get too high on them because I mean they got Michigan in a couple weeks. We'll find out a lot about them when they go on the road.
they got they got Michigan. You know
You-
what? I wanna go and I wanna talk about Bama. I wanna talk about
Let's talk about them.
just what they did against just West Kentucky, man. Like a lot of people do, 6-3-0. That's typical Bama. That's expected. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Milrow, 7-9, 200, three tutties. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the 17-year-old freshman. Shout out to my boy. 2 receptions, 139. Ryan Williams, 2 receptions, 139, 230. My man's 17, yo. 17 years old. Bro, we was still in junior. It was junior high school. A man got a Bama uniform on. Usually they put a hat him on the sideline, being a little cute, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Man had 2 receptions, 139, two tutties. He's 17. So
Legitimately, he
but
legit.
legitimately, and but I want to say this though, a lot of people are saying like Georgia is the best team. I feel like Bama is still a top priority in college football. You know what I'm saying? I think with this new era, you know what I'm saying, and you just gotta be patient. This is something new. This is new for everybody. No Nick Saban. It's the first time we're not seeing it, but this is still Bama football. I still think Bama is a threat to Georgia. I still think, Bama can get over the edge against Georgia. And again, this is week one. You know what I'm saying? This is week one, but this is typical Bama football. A 63-0 win. That's typical what we would see in years past. Like that's nothing new. So I just want to ask you for them, where do you see them, as the season go on? Do you see them being Bama, not Bama of old, but do you just see them still being the elite contender in terms of the top four by at least mid-season and season end?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I don't think nothing's changed with
Mm-hmm.
Alabama. So for me, I'm looking at this, looking at the schedule. obviously they do play Georgia in week 4, at
Mm-hmm.
home in Vaught Hemingway Stadium. They got some opportunities against South Florida as a team that you should be able to that you should be wiping the floor with, but we'll see how they come out and see how they play and how do they execute, week to week, for Kellen DeBoer. Wisconsin, a team that the spread has got Alabama by 9.5. Wisconsin's a competitive team in the Big Ten on a consistent basis. We know they're physical. We know what they're going to bring to the table. Can Alabama? That's a good test before you play Georgia to see like, hey, where are we? Like, let's really see where we're
Mm-hmm.
at. Georgia,
Where are we? Yeah.
the Georgia game. Boy. I won't give no predictions about that one until we get there. But that game is gonna tell you a lot about what's about to happen in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
You
In
know,
the coming
it,
weeks.
it,
Yeah.
it, it's
Conference.
it's for
Yeah.
it's for sure gonna tell you a lot. Bama's got a lot of tests on their schedule. We're gonna find out a lot about Kellen DeBoer and about this Bama group in terms of whether they're still the same team or not, because they got plenty of teams on the schedule that are gonna be looking to knock on the door and knock them off the block. And so Bama will get a chance to prove themselves. Again, week to week, everything's week to week, and the only team that we feel confident about, what I feel confident about, are Georgia and Bama, but they got schedules that will definitely
Mm-hmm.
test them and see, like, hey, how good are you really, when it comes down to the grand scheme of it. So, but I can't think of anybody else that in the top 25 that necessarily maybe impressed me, disappointed me, or anything. Like, I mean, shout out to Jeremiah Smith, for Ohio State, true freshman wide receiver. He was the
Mm-hmm.
first true freshman wide receiver to get a start in the Ryan Day era. Popped off great, like what I'm saying, just like his counterpart Ryan Williams. Um, Nothing necessarily that is too crazy,
Mm-hmm.
man. I think. I'm sorry. Let me check one more score. Yeah, nothing too crazy happened, man. Nothing.
Yep. Yep.
Nothing over the
Yep.
top. I'd say for North Carolina State's still a sleeper team for me. They got a chance to
Mm-hmm.
prove something against Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee right now, Vegas has Tennessee by 8. I would have to agree. But we'll see. We're gonna learn a lot about those boys this week. Tennessee, Tennessee, who opened up with a big win. We gonna find out about that top 15 ranking, brother, and we gonna see if it's real or not. And for North Carolina State,
All right.
we gonna see if my sleeper ACC pick is legitimate, because I mean they disappointed me to start the year off. I'm
Right.
not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
it was a little rocky, but we'll see. Other than that, I don't know. Did we got anything else? Did we got anything else that you want to hit?